In preparation for an exam, it's important to look at past papers and, where possible, to look at model answers so that you understand exactly what's required before you go into the exam room. So you were given a variation of a past test to look at over reading week, and I'm going to go through the questions on this to give you some idea of an effective way to approach the questions in the summer. So what I'm using is a practice test which is going to be simpler and offers shorter questions than those you'll get in the exam. So until last year, students took a test after reading week on the material from the first part of managerial economics course. So they completed 2 questions out of a choice of 5. Each question therefore took 30 minutes. So the first thing we do in looking at this question, which is clearly about supply and demand curves, is to try and work out the best way to allocate time. So it's very common for economics questions to have subsections. So you'll see here it goes from A to F. So the first thing you need to do is to say, how do I allocate my 30 minutes for this question effectively? There are 3 marks for each of the first 5 subsections, so that's about 5.5 minutes. 10 marks for the final subsection of this question, so that's 12 minutes. And we need to be identifying the keywords. So supply and demand curves are required. Illustrate means you must have a diagram, just reinforcing the fact it says draw here. Initial equilibrium. So equilibrium is a central concept that needs to be explored. And then separate figures. So you can't combine all information on one big diagram. You need separate ones if you're going to try and gain all of these marks. So the first one says, draw an initial equilibrium of the mango market. So, generating our answer, we are going to sketch our usual axis, horizontal, quantity, vertical is price, a downward sloping demand curve. We have no information that tells us it's either Veblen or Giffen. We're going to have an upward sloping supply curve. And the really important thing is it's asking us about equilibrium. So we have to demonstrate that we understand equilibrium refers to a stable point where there's no reason for price and quantity to change. So to generate a new equilibrium, one or more of the conditions that we're holding constant in this first diagram need to have changed.